Hello, guys.
Wenger, can you take the intro now, please? Unmute yourself and now.
Okay. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever time zones you are in the world. Welcome to our program today about the Pan African Women's Organization. Today, we're going to discuss about the female leaders who have been presidents of different countries in Africa going back to 1975 and to date. We're going to talk about their achievements, their rise to political fame, and much more. In this month of African Women's Awareness Month, which is on July 31st, 2021, we're going to look back on just pretty much the political landscape of where women have been and how the continent continues to move forward. So with my fellow panelists, Eno Raman Arunsi, Akweta Achaleke, and Clara Okoro, we all welcome you to this wonderful program. All right. So yeah, you can start now.
So we're having some challenges with the networks. We're having
Okay.
challenges with the network, and we're getting it from the Pan African Women's Organization coming on my screen right now. Pick that call, except someone is sitting in. But again, we want to greet everyone. You see, it's really, really crazy now. We're celebrating African women. It's action, action, action everywhere. And so calls are coming in. We are on the screen. We are spotlighting. We are celebrating. We are just a fantastic day. We have our colleagues here from Nigeria, from New York, from Germany. Joy is behind the line, and we have a couple of other partners who are joining us in this today to just spotlight and celebrate African women, and above all, to invite you to brother said before. So that said, we are going to take on our female heroes, the female presidents and prime ministers, introduce them to you one by one, and engage you in the conversation. If you're out there on screen, please join the conversation, share your heroes. Even if they're not political leaders, whoever your Black female hero is, please share them with us as you join the conversation, and use the comment box on Facebook you're joining, and we will take you into the studio to share with us. That said, we are ready to go. Let's get our very spontaneous and highly efficient colleagues to introduce themselves. Clara, can we start with you, please?
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Clara Chingokoro, and I'm the founder of My Beautiful Africa, a travel tech company based in Lagos, Nigeria. Extremely passionate about women's contribution to the advancement of the African continent, and really privileged to be working with a team that is so amazing, and to be able to share with you all what we're planning for the 31st of July is actually a privilege. Welcome to the occasion. Thank you.
The network is a little bit unstable today, so some of our colleagues are coming in and out. We ask you to kindly bear with us. After Clara from Nigeria, we're going to go to New York. He introduced the program, but hey, he hasn't introduced himself. So, brother Benga, over to you. The mic is yours. May you kindly introduce yourself and tell us what you're doing in the women's space right now.
Oh my. Just fast intro. Hello, everybody. My name is Benga Subai. I head the African Union Day Foundation based in New York City. And all, I'm wonderful to be part of this event, this program celebrating African Women's Month in the continent that's been around since July 31st, 1962. And to be part of a whole discussion about the female political leadership, their rise to power, and what the future looks like for the continent moving forward in every area. So it's wonderful to be here, and we welcome everybody to be part of this wonderful occasion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Again, we're juggling. The phones are ringing. So, but again, we're inviting all of you. If you're on the Facebook page of this event, Africa's Women's Day, please make sure to join the conversation. This is an open space. We want to hear from you. We want to engage you. We want you to be an integral part of this program today. This is the build of the African Women's Day on the 31st of July that we shall be celebrating, and we hope to have you on board. That said, I am going back to Nigeria to my other brother online. You see, we are African people. We stand together, men and women. And that's why we are all here to celebrate Africa's Women's Day, me and my sisters and my brothers. Over to you, Brother Benga. Let us know who you are, introduce yourself, and guide us through the day.
Hello, good day, guys. My name is Rahman Aronsi. I'm a Nigerian. I'm actually Igbo by tribe. I live in Abuja. I'm a businessman. I think we have missed a lot of the stories around the African woman. So from misconceptions to knowing something too much or overly knowing and giving an idea or a different idea of the African woman. Now, this is an opportunity for you to join us and learn who the African woman is and why we are celebrating her this month. And then on the 31st of July to mark the day. I welcome my brother, Benga. I welcome my sister, Madam Beatrice and Clara. Honestly, I'm expecting, I'm so expectant of an amazing day and an amazing conversation because you are going to learn a whole lot of things. Madam Beatrice, I know that we've been learning a lot from your books. You're an author and you've authored multiple books. I know that we are going to learn so much from you educating us on one woman today so that our guests can follow suit and then be proud to join us and call themselves African women or people that love African women.
Yes, I think before we get there, let's give a little background information on the day that we'll pass that back on to our brother Benga. He has the historical background. And I want to acknowledge our colleague who is in the show that this stream runs. We are acknowledging you, John, of founder of African Women in Trade and African Women in Europe. She is one of the driving force behind this event today. So we salute you. We know that Mavis is in Ghana. She must not be feeling fine. So she's with us in spirit. And Abigail, who is behind the line trying to put all the flyers, all the beautiful flyers together, we want to acknowledge her right here. So you may see the four of us in screen, but so we acknowledge all our team colleagues. And that said, I will pass the ball back to our brother Benga to give us a brief history of the day that we are celebrating on the 31st of July. Just a very brief one, bro. The mic is yours again.
Sure. Thank you very much. Wonderful to be here. The Women's Organization started just on the backs of when a lot of countries were gaining independence in the late 50s into the early 60s. And there was a lot of back and forth discussion on where the continent should shift focus to or where the direction of the continent was going. So you had two groups of different ideologies. The Casablanca group, which had President Nkrumah, Jamal Abdel Nasser, all the North African countries who wanted Africa for Africans, African unity without external influence. And you had the Moravia group, which Nigeria and had a lot of the French-speaking countries who still wanted to keep their relationship with France and the other European countries. So they were arguing back and forth and everything until Haile Selassie asked all countries, all the leaders to come to Ethiopia and sort it out. So while this was happening, the women from different parts of the continent were not into that discussion. They just came together and said, well, let's leave the men to argue. Let's all come together and form our own, which led to this day. And to today, it's this organization is a year older than the Organization African Unity, which is now African Union. So, which also too goes into the archives and to the record books forever, that the women started first before the men. but no complaints on that. And everything. So that's a brief history, and that's how it started. So through the years, it's just hasn't been more. It hasn't gained a lot of attention because of the male-dominated events. But as we move into this year, this century, and moving forward, we're seeing a seismic change in how we look at women, their role in the continent, and everything. So that's why this day makes it very important to celebrate. Thank you.
So I think the mic is open again. Raman, who is next on your list? You are the boss in this room today. Who is next on the list? Is it me?
Oh, madam, you are the next on my list. Is your mic on mute? Honestly, the insight Benga just gave right now, it's most of the information in that insight is new to me. So I feel like I have to digest that, and then I feel like I have a follow-up question, but I don't want to go into that follow-up question right now. I wanted Madam Beatrice to bring us up to date. Apart from what you have given to us, Benga, I wanted Madam Beatrice to highlight like why we are actually here today to celebrate to discuss what is going to be celebrated on the 31st of July. You get me? So that people understand that we are doing this for a purpose, not just to gather and talk about the African women. I don't want people to confuse the reason we came here. I want people to understand that there is a day set aside for the Africa's Women Day, and then there is a reason we are here to highlight it. I believe education is important, and if the right people don't gather to educate those that are not informed, they will miss out on a lot of opportunities. So now they've heard from the man, Benga, and there's no way Benga will be the right person to tell us why women gathered and how they gathered. I think Madam Beatrice should be in a better position to discuss this, or not a better position to give another light to it, or a different understanding. And I may have to even call in Clara to explain something about it. But this question goes to Madam Beatrice.
Thank you so much, brother. Again, remember African solidarity, right? We're standing together. We're changing the paradigm, which means whoever has the knowledge shares the knowledge. And I think our brother Benga was in a better position of the founding of the African Union. And I find it very interesting when a man does that. It shows us that he has been preoccupied with this day and that he knows where this day comes from. That said, I just want to add to what he said. Today we are focusing on the political legacy of African women, and that political legacy is very, very far. It started during colonization. It went through the fight for the independence of African states, and after the independence. And this day we're focusing specifically on the women who were the first ringleaders to take up the highest political offices in their country after independence. And if you realize that during colonization, women were totally undermined. Some of them were in the fight of their countries. Some fought for independence of not just their countries, but neighboring countries. Women organized themselves. And after independence, you realize that almost all the first presidents of African states were male. But in between the line, women surfaced. Women surfaced from 1975 positions. So one of those women, or the first one, is my absolute hero, besides my mom and my many moms, because I'm a child of many moms. Besides my many moms, Elizabeth Domitian is my number one hero. She was the first woman to ascend to the position of Prime Minister in Africa. This is her face. This is the face of the hero I am celebrating personally. She grew up in a very rural area in the Central African Republic. She had a very minimal education. In fact, she only had the education that allowed her to cook, sew, and keep the household. That was called domestic science back then. But this is a woman who role of a woman in the kitchen. She rose from where she was, starting by first joining her parents who were in the agricultural field. Her mom was a very powerful woman. She owns land. So this woman joined her mom and became a businesswoman. In the role of a businesswoman, she gained a lot of credibility and a lot of respect from other women in her country. So people came to her for advice. People will normally come to her for all kinds of assistance. Eventually, she decided to organize women in a movement that she called the Social Evolution Movement for Black Africa. So this was her first movement that finally became a political party in the Central African Republic. And in 1975, given the influence that she was in, she traveled to Casablanca. She attended most of the historical meetings that were back then, immediately after the independence of our country. And in this position, she was appointed the first ever president of Africa by the then President Bokassa. We may say everything about Bokassa, that he was a dictator, but at this point, he was the very first man in Africa to recognize that a woman can be a prime minister, and the first prime minister in Africa was in the Central African Republic, and that was our mom, our auntie, our hero, our Shiro, Mama Elizabeth Domitienne, Honorable Elizabeth Domitienne. She's no longer here, but I know that in the Central African Republic, she's still very much respected. There's a monument that is out there to celebrate her legacy, and she's still an incredible power, and I guess that her energies are with us today. A woman who rise from the space of a prime minister is absolutely a force to be reckoned with. And I want to remind us, she was here before Margaret Thatcher in the UK. So today I celebrate Elizabeth Domitienne as my Shiro, and I invite you to celebrate with us. And if you're out there on Facebook, please text us your Shiro. Who is your Shiro? If it's not a political Shiro, whoever she is, share with us. We want to celebrate African women today. That said, I am handing over the mic over to my studio boss, my brother, Rahman. Over to you.
There's this thing that goes about. We don't normally recognize our female heroes or our Shiros. We don't normally know them. We get to know them when they come out or somebody else celebrates them. You understand? I wouldn't have known about this unless I searched for that knowledge. Thank you, Madam Beatrice, for giving us this education. I'm sure this will go in history, that some group of persons or someone came out and educated us about who even gave the first Shiro the opportunity to be a prime minister, when nobody coming from her background, nobody will expect a woman to be a prime minister at that stage. In a community or in a place where, when they are talking about leadership issues, women are always in the backstage or in the kitchen doing one thing or the other, or taking care of the children. So this insight is incredibly amazing. Let's do a background on another Shiro. I am believing Benga is prepared to give us a background on the current president of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu Hassan. Did I get her name correctly? Please correct me. Your mic is on mute, Benga. Can you unmute your mic?
Yes. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you got her name right. Samia Suluhu Hassan. Yes.
Okay. Can you briefly give us like a background of her? I noticed that she was a vice president to I can't remember his name before she became president. Can you give me a little background? Because sure, I didn't know this before now, and because most of us don't like to read in Africa, it's easier for us to learn from the experts and the people that have studied them. Thank you.
Sure, no problem. Madam President, she's the current 6th president of Tanzania, and she's been vice president since around November 2015, up until when she took over from the previous president who died of COVID, John Magufuli. She has served in various departments of being a minister, member of parliament, everything and all. And she's a very accomplished individual who has actually worked in the international development, like World Food Program in Tanzania and everything. And also too, she's an economics background. I know. The previous president, President Jakaya Kikwete, appointed her as Minister of State for Union Affairs. And that was where her prominence and everything started becoming very popular. People started becoming knowing who she was. And when President Magufuli ran for office in 2015, he picked her as a running mate, which was also to the first in history in Tanzania. And when he won, he became her vice president and everything and all. So impressive background, rich and served at various levels and all. And she's one of the rising stars in African politics and African leadership moving forward, inspiring other women too to change the perception of what is out there, that women can rise to leadership in any space and anywhere possible. Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. That's insightful. I wanted to ask a question.
Sure.
Understanding how we act in Africa, and then most of the people, members of the cabinet, when she was vice president, were mostly dominated by men. Now, what was the psychology of the people that allowed her to take over when the presidency, that former president was no longer there? What was the psychology? How come she was able to scale through? Because it's usually tough, even for a male. I know how it is. I don't want us to I don't want to create a bias, but I still want to understand her mindset, because reading a little about her profile, she looks like someone that is head on and a goal getter. And I would like you to, I'm not saying you've met her, but reading about somebody means meeting the person, basically. If you can give us a brief of some of her personality that maybe brought out that, because some women should learn that so that they know how to, come into this space.
Sure, no problem. If you look at the history of Tanzania right from independence, it's been one of the most stable countries in the continent in terms of leadership, presidents finishing their terms and the next president's taking over. At least we all know who Julius Nyerere is, who pretty much was one of the leaders, not just in Tanzania or East Africa, but the entire continent, and was one of the voices. So what it was that you had a country that was already stable for the last 50, 60 years, stability, and just following the constitution, whether it was a man or woman. And that's what we saw here when it was time for her to take over. Of course, you're going to have some little rumblings here and there, which is always the case. But the constitution states that when the president is no longer around, the vice president takes over, whether he's a man or she's a woman. And that's what we saw in here and everything. So it's been one of the most stable countries in the continent for a very long time. And that goes to the testament of Julius Nyerere and the leaders that came right after him. Because remember, when his term was over, he left gracefully. He didn't ask for a third, fourth, fifth term. And the others too, who came before him and after. So that's the stability that we're seeing, that we have her as president today. Thank you.
Awesome. Samia has been there for 6 years. And I believe she will make an awesome history.
Yes.
Madam Beatrice, this one goes to Madam Beatrice. When Honorable Elizabeth became Prime Minister, it was tougher then. And I can tell you, most of the knowledge I'm getting to this date about African women heroes are coming from you and from your books. Not like I've read all of them. I've read little snippets of all of them. Can you tell a little about that, her personality? Because it's tougher then. How did she? Because most of the time we don't talk about this. For the male counterpart, it's easier for us to tell their story, their backstories, and all that. Even go as far as mentioning how many kids they have and how many their spouses. But for the women, we don't dive into that. Like President Samia has 4 kids. I noticed Benga didn't even mention that, but he's forgiven. But Madam Beatrice, can you tell us a little about her personality for Honorable Beatrice Elizabeth?
I will accept that title, Honorable, but if you don't mind, I would like for us to jump to Clara. I would like for us to jump to Clara and pick her Shiro before we can do the conversation round, if you don't mind. That way we're
I
all
actually
on the
wanted
same
to.
page, and then we can.
I know I wanted to get that because I wanted to balance that with what Benga said about Fosemia. So I
Okay,
balance that and I
okay.
go to Clara.
Okay, fine. Well, as I mentioned,
Thank
she
you.
grew up in a rural area. She from a farming family, so you can understand that she had to fight her way up to the top. She had a mother to look up to who was already very, very much, who was a big success in the agricultural field and who was a recognized businesswoman. So she had the shoulders of another woman to stand on. She had her fight. She
Okay.
had a lot of fights, and getting into politics. She was not a highly educated type of woman, and so she certainly had a lot of controversy, a lot of fights on that front. But being the strong-minded woman that she was, a visionary woman, a woman that had shown her credibility, and who above all was connected with the grassroots. She was connected with to the grassroots, and that was where her power came from. That was where her support came from her position as a businesswoman again, as someone who is not preaching, but someone who has done it. She was trying to impact to women what she had done herself and shown them that with the little education that she had, she was able to ascend to such position. So that certainly gave her credibility and gave her the respect, and her the respect that she deserved, and in the face of whatever adversity that she must have faced. I regret that we don't have her to tell her story today, that we're telling bits and pieces, but I think these bits and pieces are better than nothing at all. So we respect her for
That's
what
true.
she did back then. So over to you.
Okay, now, Madam Clara, you've been quiet for a while. I know that, but first of all, before I allow you go on, I want you to mention who your Shiro is. Then we'll go from there. For today.
Okay, so since in the landscape here in Nigeria, we haven't had a lot of female, vice presidents or presidents or governors, so to say. The most we've had are probably just deputy governors. But this person that is my Shiro would have, in my estimation, become the first female president of Nigeria, and that's the late Dora Akunyili, who was the first director general of, not the first, but the most active and known director general of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration in Nigeria. And that is my Shiro. If she had been alive, my thinking was she would have probably become the first female president of Nigeria, because majority of the whole country was solidly behind her and the amazing work she did at NAFDAC when she was alive.
Amazingly, she took NAFDAC from an organization that nobody knew and took seriously to something people begin to look at and say, wow, we have some group of persons protecting the drugs we take, the medications we take in our system. Before then, there was nothing like that. I could see her. Then I noticed she was always on the streets of Lagos and other states doing those amazing jobs. While you're mentioning her as your Shiro, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting any other person apart from her. But
why would you say that?
She, people, let me say Nigerians choose their Shiros from people that are trending. But you didn't take from a list that is trending. You took from a list that is efficient, that actually made an impact, even though they didn't spend a lot of time on earth. You get, and that is something that is powerful and it's unique, and I have so much value for that. You understand? But how well can you tell us about Dora Akunyili? Your mic is on. Okay.
Yes, I just unmuted. I just have a short bio I wrote out about her. She was the first Director General of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration in Nigeria. She was born in July 14, 1954 in Makurdi, that is in middle belt of Nigeria. She died in India on the 7th of June in 2014. Her spouse is JC Akonmili. He's also a medical doctor. By the way, she has her background in the medical field, and she's a professor as well. And her children, a majority of them are resident in the United States. I think there are about 4 of them, 3 daughters and a son. And one of the best-selling books she wrote was The War Against Counterfeit Medicine, My Story. Dora was an amazing human being. When she was also the Minister of Communications in Nigeria, it was amazing the impact this woman had that kept the presidency, that gave her that role as the Minister of Information, very much in the face of global activities, because she was able to articulate and communicate the actions of that presidency, the actions of the government of the day, very, very lucidly to the world. She was a powerhouse of herself, and a chapter that was almost going to be a dark part of Nigeria's history, she turned it around and gave us the government that eventually birthed the democracy that Nigeria were really looking forward to. Dora was so efficient. All over the world, people were coming to Nigeria just to have an interface with Dora Akonmili. And it was something that was truly amazing. A lot of us were rooting for her to go into the presidency, in terms of, indicating her interest to actually, vie for election to become the president. And I can tell you about 80% of Nigerians were really, truly ready to vote for her to become the first female president of Nigeria. Unfortunately, she died in 2014. But even up till now, if you go through social media, a lot of people still post messages and things that she has done for Nigeria just to commemorate, because I think it was just last month that it was 5 years anniversary of her death, and so many people still celebrated the impact she had on their lives and in Nigeria.
Thank you so much. I feel humbled. As a Nigerian, I didn't know this part of Dora. But thank you, Clara, for bringing this up. Guys, we are highlighting this important history, this important information for a purpose. Education is important. Most of the time, we may not get this education in our institutions. And I think the book Clara mentioned, what was that? What's the name of that book again? Your mic is on mute. Your mic is on mute. Can you unmute? And sorry.
It's called The War Against Counterfeit Medicine, My Story.
Yeah, The War Against Counterfeit Medicine. Now, I watch her on TV. I knew how she was on the street. A lot of people will say they want to fight war against something, and they send people to do the fighting for them. But she was in the forefront of this war. You see her fighting for. When she entered the Idumota market, where these distributors are, I noticed how they are scared, and most of them didn't even know they were doing something wrong until she stepped in. A lot of people didn't have a standard for good medication or medicine until she stepped in. And then there's something that happened during the after the COVID-19 lockdown, during the NSAS period. The Executive Council were discussing or deliberating on the herbal product, on the herbal medicine, trying to formalize this. And I realized Dora started that process, but didn't conclude it. And that was when I remembered Dora in that meeting. I was like, wow, somebody started something and a group of persons are completing it, even though they were not in government when it happened. So it's an amazing thing. And I would like to still mention, maybe I should mention what in Madame Beatrice's book, about education. I know most of us don't like to read here in Africa, in the continent. I'm believing a lot of Africans will listen to this and notice that I'm pointing fingers at them. There is a lot of information. Most of the Shiros today have documented this history, and then we can go out there and look for them. Luckily for us, people like Madame Beatrice is here, and she has done a whole lot of work on these histories. We should. I'm sure we'll drop the link for most of the people that are subscribed to us, so they can get these books and see that these things are true. See what these women went through in the middle of no hope, when you think that this thing is not possible, and somebody breaks through it, and you're wondering, wow, how did she manage that? And it becomes history. And this is going to tell a lot about our future, how our children will be in the future. Because today, the growth of women becoming successful in their field, in government, in politics, in business, in their careers, is becoming exponential. And this kind of promotion, this kind of event is going to give it even more exponential growth, and then there's no going back. There's no going back. I would like Benga. I don't want us. We spent 6 minutes. I don't want us to leave here without educating people on the day and what to expect on the 31st of July, so that they can anticipate.
It's the good thing is you want to keep it like in a suspense trailer, just like when you do movie promotion. You put a little clip here and there, and it's like, wow,
Yeah.
and you leave the rest, kind of like one of those James Bond thrillers, and everything. But I agree with what you said about the reading. Education is power. Information is power. Knowledge is power. And we're the only ones who can tell our stories from the way we see it and from our own perspective. Nobody else will. And with this historic day, July 31st, coming up, we'll just tell people to tune in, follow. Just they're in for a good treat. And it's you don't want to give too much away, but they should just stay tuned. The good things are coming, and they're gonna be left impressed after the event. That would even make them go read up more about something they probably never heard about and never know about. And that's how you create awareness. It starts with little programs like this, little discussion, and it gets bigger. So I'll leave it as that. Yes, suspense. Thank you.
I will still get back to you. I like this. I like the suspense part, but I want you to give a young woman today a reason to be on that event, so that that is her.
Okay.
That is her reason. You get. I want her to have a reason to be on that event. So while you are giving the suspense, give her a reason to be on that event. One reason is enough.
Okay. Motivation, inspiration, and this event can show that whatever she sets her minds to, as an African woman, as a Black woman, that those goals can be attained. Nothing can get in her way. Yes, nothing can get in her way. Nothing can stop her. That if she just stays on the right path, good things will come. So that's what this event is going to be about. Motivating event, an inspirational event. Yes, and changing perceptions about how we look at women in our society. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Madam Clara, I want you to give our viewers that will listen, especially the, I think the men needs to know, they need to be in this conversation, because there has been a history of men taking underrating the women. You get. I want them to see this as their own thing, like their duty to even be on the event. So, what is the one reason you think a man should come to this event?
Well, one reason, but it's extremely loaded. I have this personal philosophy that if you come into a lab and you have two skulls on a table with no flesh on it, you're not going to know who the man or the woman is. But what is between the two ears, which is the brain, the organ, carries between those two genders what is meant to activate the world we live in. So I always like the gender issues to be neutral when we're utilizing our capacity as brains to be able to solve the problems of the world. So men should also come to the table at this event to learn how women contribute to the advancement of the world by utilizing that thing between their two ears.
Amazing. My mind is blowing up. You know, I feel like there shouldn't be a difference. You understand? I feel like there is, like when we are in class, a man could be first in class and a woman could be first in class. And there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. You understand? When we come to debate, people should be able to express themselves based on who they are, not based on gender. You understand? And I like that. I love that. And I think because of that reason, that is why even women will come to the event. And I want a lot of people to be in this event. We are going to do everything we can to make sure people come to this event and they have this experience like they've never had before in all the years of this event. Madam Beatrice, I would take you on another journey. White Benga mentioned why a woman should come, and then Madam Clara mentioned why a man should come. I want you to tell me why both of them should be in the event and not even miss it. Like, if they miss it, this is what they will miss out on.
Before I answer that question, I want to kind of highlight something. Those of you who are out there watching us, if you're listening, please, you can join this event at our website, which is blended on the screen, www.africaswomenday.africa. That's where you can join. You'll find information about registration, and you'll find information about all the sheroes that we're highlighting every day. The whole purpose of this day, of this month, is that we are highlighting, spotlighting, and celebrating an African female leader who has been in a political as prime minister, president, vice president, deputy prime minister, or chair of the National Constitutional Council. We are highlighting and spotlighting them every day, one after the other, throughout the whole month of July. So we're not just gearing towards celebrating one day, we are claiming the whole month, like our colleague Joy will say. Joy, you are in the background, this is your passion. You claim the whole month for us to celebrate the African woman, and I am thanking you for claiming the whole month. And so if you go on our website and on the Facebook page, you will see that there's a lot of information for you. For us, it is beyond celebration. This is the space where you learn. This is the space where you get the bits and pieces, important bits and pieces about your African identity, about your African heritage, about your African pride, about your, everything that is yours that you will not find in any book, in any school book. So we are inviting you to join and be on the page. And again, if you're on the page, this is our duty, all of us, to share. Make sure that you bring as many more people into the space as possible. If you're a teacher, bring your classroom in. If you are a parent, bring your children in. You are a colleague sitting in a boardroom, bring your people in. Remember, when you celebrate the African woman, you are not just celebrating the African woman, you're celebrating you and your children and your children's children. This is a legacy that we're celebrating right here. So that after the pandemic, when you talk about African women, people should reference to Africa Women's Day, not because it is a day, but because it is a space where they go to get education, a space where they go to get content. So this is the whole essence of this Africa Women's Day. It is about spotlighting, celebrating, and sharing information that we all should know, because it makes us proud, because that's what should be done, because we are women, because we are information, and we think that it is our responsibility to share. Maya Angelou said, when you learn, teach. So we are learning and teaching here at the same time, and I'm happy that we're all here. Again, we have merchandise that you can support the event with. All the people that are in here are independent people. There's no organization, there's no sponsorship, there's no company. These are men and women of African men and women who come together to say, this is our thing, and we're doing it. So again, you see the website is blended on the screen. Please go on that website, be part of this awareness raising event, beyond the 31st of July, because by doing that, you're just uplifting yourself. And I have to say, we have mentioned that we have our Facebook page, we have an Instagram page, we have the website that is just being set out. You'll find all the links that would allow you to register for the event. Again, registration is free. It's free, so you have no excuse not to register. The registration is free and you can join at any time. So we really want to celebrate you for that. Clara does a lot of marketing, so she will probably still have an idea on how she can get you, give you a reason why you can be on this event. So that said, I want to get to your question. I think we should all come to this event. Adults and elderly people, everyone should be on this event because it is the place where we share information. It's the place where we learn history. It's the place where we bring Africa alive. It's the place where we celebrate our mothers. And our mothers, hey, without our mothers, will not be here. It is the place where we give you that piece of history that you should know if you don't yet know it. It's a place where you connect with like-minded Africans who are passionate about their continent, who are out to celebrate, spotlight their continent, who want to show you the positive thing about Africa that you definitely should know, whether you're African or not. We are open, we are inclusive. Come join the party, come join the awareness trail. Take the flowers from wherever, the flyers on our website, share them wherever you are, print them out, put them on your walls, take them into your homes, put them on your walls, in your home, in your offices. That's what we're asking you to do because it is all about raising awareness. It is our responsibility to raise awareness on these women who risked their lives, who sacrificed so much, who stood up, who went through all kinds of tribulations to create a political, to open the ceiling, open the door for other women to come into political leadership. So this is what we're celebrating, and that's why we are saying it is our responsibility, our collective responsibility to all join. I'm sorry for taking too much space, but I just needed to put that out, Mr. Moderator. Thank you for the...
Sorry, we need you to take the space. You are amazing with the information. You're amazing with the education. We need to take the space. If you can't take the space, and we're patient enough for you. You understand?
That's it. One more thing, please. One more thing. I'm sorry about this. Okay. But we said we are highlighting a woman every day. And today we have one woman that we're highlighting. And that woman, we haven't mentioned her. We have talked about Shiro. But the lady that was highlighting, of the 40 African women in political leadership, we're not talking about ministers, we're talking about female presidents and prime ministers. So of all the 40, there is one that we're highlighting today. We highlighted one yesterday, tomorrow we'll be highlighting another one. Today is Chairwoman Ruth Sando Falungule Perry. She was the very, very first woman to be the chair of the National Constitutional Council of Liberia. So when you talk about Liberia, people will tell you about Ellen. Yeah, she was the first elected president of the Republic of Liberia. She was the longest serving president. She served for 2 terms, but she stood on the shoulder of Mrs. Perry Sando, who was the first to have been appointed the president of the interim chair. She was the first female interim chair of the Council of State of the Republic of Liberia from September 1996 to August 1997. Before that, she was the chair of the Liberian Council of Senate in the presidents of the country. In 1985, Mrs. Elected into the Liberian Senate. Before becoming a politician, she was an elementary school teacher and in the Grand Cape Mountain country of Liberia. After her political career, she started her own retail business and became an active citizen. She continued to work peace in her country by actively participating in civil organizations and women initiatives in Liberia, and some of which were Women in Action for Goodwill and the Association of Social Services. So she unfortunately passed on the 8th of January 2017. So just very recently, we lost her without collecting her history. So I'm happy that we're spotlighting her today and celebrating her. And we encourage people out there who knew her to please bring out her story. Don't let her story die. She made the legacy. It is up to us to uplift it. So, Mr. Moderator, I am passing it on to you again.
Mr. Benga, do you have something to add to the woman we are spotlighting today, the Shiro we are spotlighting today? Do you have something to add?
It's just it's a wonderful story, elevation, just how important African women is, and the perception of how we look at them, how we see them, and for a woman to attain that position of authority at the highest level says a lot, and that can be a motivation for young women, even for young boys too. Because also too, as much as we are talking about women, I think also too, people who have kids, daughters and sons, this event is very important for them, because at a young age they can also see women that, wow, women have attained a position of president, vice president, prime minister. So highlighting a shiro like this, it's just adds to what this whole event is going to be about on the 31st and what we're doing today. Yes.
I think we should begin to make this conversation a normal. It shouldn't be an abnormal for a woman to be successful and become a leader. It should be a normal. It has gotten to that point where we have to make it a normal. That equality has to be there, and not mention them all the time or protest it. It should just be a normal right now. Let it be a way of life. Let it be in our culture every day. Like Madam Beatrice was highlighting, I honestly want us to support this program. If you're watching from wherever you are, support. You can support from anywhere. It doesn't matter where you are. As long as you have your mobile phone and you have internet on your phone, you can support us from anywhere. People are supporting. People are joining us, and we are in a very short time. We are having amazing support that we did not expect. And then I want us to, I'm looking up to the event. I'm honestly looking up to the event every day. I want to see what am I going to learn today. And it's like, oh, this community is more of education than even more of the persons we are learning about. And it makes me happy. It makes me excited. And then when I hear Clara and Madam Beatrice talk, I feel the energy. I feel like, this we should be motivating, not me. And I'm enjoying this entire session. What do we look like? I want to take us out of this celebration, because there is a reason for this celebration. I want to take us into reasons for celebrating this day. If it has not been a difficult journey, it won't be worth celebrating. You understand? Now, we have the population in Africa is growing. Women, men, the population is growing. And sometimes youth, younger people, even people that are older, don't even know who to look up to. Because one thing I've picked around this conversation is mentorship. The leaders were mentored, they had a support group, they had somebody they looked up to, and they had a belief that they followed. What should people look up to when they say, I want to be a leader, I want to be an influence on somebody? What should be what they look up to? Madam Clara, can I get yours first?
Okay, my thoughts are, it's amazing how women are, would I call it, I'm sorry to use it, but it's marginalization in the world we live in. Their contribution to life is so massive, starting from the home front, how they push the family, they groom, because it's actually her effect on the family that you see in society in the end. So it's very essential that women need to be equipped with the right tools to be able to forge ahead with their capacity to manage families, manage institutions, manage schools, because in all this, they're dealing with the human element, and it all has to do with the mind. So you see a society that places premium on their women, you can imagine what that society turns out to be. Just take what happened with the COVID-19. all the countries that came topmost in the management of the crisis were headed by women. And so my dream is next year, when AU will be celebrating their 60th anniversary, to see a massive celebration where you come into a hall and you see pictures with history behind it of so many women and the contributions they've made to the advancement of the society we found ourselves in the African continent. I think it is time the corporate world comes in to really, really put their money where their mouth is in helping to celebrate these women. Because without these women training those who are their workforce, training those who are helping them grow their businesses, they wouldn't have those people. So I think it's something we really need to collaborate with as a society, as a continent, to, for once, truly celebrate the African woman. I think it's truly worth celebrating.
I'm feeling like it's 31st already, or is my calendar wrong? Let me look at my phone. Okay, it's not 31st. It's 19th. Okay, okay. This is just something that you will hear. This is some of the things you are going to experience. Women with deep insight, women with deep understanding about life, about leadership, about business, about politics. Because if we have bad leadership, there's no way a community will grow. But before I go to the next question, let me mention again the address where you go to register in case you don't know. I know you may be reading it. It is www.africanwomenday.africa. AfricanWomenDay.Africa. Africa's with the S, womenday.africa. If you go there, you see and you register. I want you to register and invite somebody to register. If you have more than one person to invite, better. I want you to invite as much as you can to register. There is a whole lot that is going to happen on that day. I don't want you to see this as one of those events. Our campaign is to make it a normal, like when they make campaign of the new normal. This should be the new normal for every conversation. I have that desire in me. So one thing you will get on a daily basis, we've tasked ourselves to educate you on one Shiro on a daily basis. You don't know who we are going to highlight tomorrow. So if you don't want to miss out on that, just come in and register with us, and then we'll prepare you for the event. Before I go, before we continue again, I want to highlight that we have merchandise to use to promote that day. Now, this merchandise supports us. This is how you show your support to us, because we are doing a whole lot and we need this push to continue to do more. We have t-shirts. I wish there are pictures of this t-shirt around. I forgot to bring them along. We have t-shirts, we have coffee mugs. I want you to drink as you're taking your tea or your coffee. You are seeing the day on this coffee. You are seeing a woman highlighted. You see a leader that motivates you. You can put a wall frame, an artwork on your wall to celebrate your leader or your Shiro every day. It's not just about 31st. It's about how we celebrate women every day. How the conversation should be happening every day in our personal lives, in our public spaces as well. Madam Beatrice, I have a desire to make this conversation normal. Let it just be a normal thing. I don't want to see the woman different from the man in terms of positions, in terms of rights, in terms of leadership, in terms of what goes to the woman and what goes to the man. Now, as a man, what should I be looking at? What should be my thinking process or my thought process?
Thank you for the question. Before we get to that, I would like to also add that we have the mother organization of the day that we're celebrating. It's the Pan-African Women Organization. And as our brother Benga mentioned from the beginning, this is the organization that has kept the main of the AU to organize, to create the Pan-African Women's Day. We are incredibly lucky and excited that we have a partnership with this organization, the mother organization of this day, and to announce that we will have the chief Pan-African organization to be part of this live stream conversation. So if you are there and you did do it back then in 1962, then this is your moment. Don't miss next Monday's because Madam Grace Kubayo will be on screen with us, and she will be sharing insights about the whole beginning of the African Women's Day and probably why this day remains so unknown up until today, the 59th anniversary. That said, I also want of the time. I don't know how, Mr. Moderator, I don't know how much time we have to be in here. So
we are doing 15 more minutes.
I think it's important. We have 15 more minutes. Okay. So to respond to your question, I think men are children of women. You are all either our sons, our brothers, our uncles, our fathers, or whoever. And I think just from that perspective, knowing that, you know, you come from us. You come from us. It is up. I think having that mindfulness in you, in whatever you do, to say a woman is to be respected, because if she's not my mother, she's my sister, she's my auntie, and whatever you do to all the women, including your mother, your sister, your grandmother. I think that mindfulness alone is enough for us to be good human beings, to respect women, whether they are children, whether they are young girls or men, whether they call for respect or not. Just that fact, that basic fact, that they are human beings and that we come out of their wombs, whether we know our mothers or not, we come out of the womb of a woman. And without that, we will not be alive. Even if our father had a sperm, if it wasn't nurtured in the womb of a woman, we wouldn't be here. So I just think that is the give you I don't need to give you mathematics or geography, just the basic fact of knowing my being here has to do with the fact that I rented space 9 months in the womb of this woman, and from that space she nurtured me to becoming who I am. Oh, there we have our merchandise on.
Yeah.
And so with that, I will hand it back to you, Mr. Moderator. Before I do, I want to acknowledge again our team in the background. They are doing an amazing job. Our other teams are on Facebook. Please comment, share part of the conversation, whether you're part of the team or not. But I'm acknowledging all the people who are commenting on Facebook right now and who are sharing this conversation. Planning to be back here on Monday when we have the Pan-African Women Organization as guest speaker in this space. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you so much, Madam Beatrice. I want us to scroll this page up and down from the top. So I want you to understand that we are showing you this. I don't want you to say I don't like a tank top. I don't like a coffee mug. I don't like the phone pouch. I don't like the hoodie. There's something you will like, and that is functional, something you will use on a daily basis, or you can use for yourself on a daily basis. So go through this. The link will be on the screen soon. Go to the link and support this movement. Support the celebration. Support the event. Whatever you want to do to support, share with your friends, share with your family. Take our logo and put on your status, put on your stories, put your face on our logo and push on. And you will be amazed that the person next door is hungry for this information but doesn't know how to get information, and you have the information. It is your duty to let them know about this information. So beautiful merchandise to support us on this. The link is is welcome to our glomuntostore.creator.spring.com /spring.com. Welcome -to-r-globuntu-store.creator-spring.com. We'll put the link in the chat area so that you can just click it and go to the store and pick something to support us. Thank you so much. Mr. Benga.
Yes, I'm
Mr.
here.
Benga, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
How is your city?
Not bad. Pretty good. Very hot right now. It's going to be a cloudy day, but it's been like 96 approaching 100 degrees. Like it's like baking here. Yes. So,
Awesome, awesome.
yeah.
I wanted to see if you start talking like a woman, so that just to get the conversation.
No, what I'll do is we'll provide the protection. That's it.
Awesome. So
Thank you.
I desire for this balance, even though we're in a world where there cannot be balance. I honestly desire for this balance, and I wish there can be something we can do every day. It should just drop in our mind that we are all equals. I know it's hard to say that, but we are equals. So, Benga,
Yes.
are you contributing to that?
Yes, I am. In every way, shape, or form. I have female siblings, and it's very important to uplift, empower our women, whether we have them as relatives or not. And with this event coming up and everything, so everyone is playing their little critical role in every shape or form, and we'll continue to educate and make people aware of such days like this exist. And again, and change the perception on how women are seen and all that. Yes.
Awesome. That was a quiz by Madam Joy, and then she said she asked that question. I wanted to bring that question here, and I hope we should take it a little. Let's be comfortable with it. What would you do if you were a female president of Nigeria?
The question is for the ladies. Oh, for me? Oh, Eva.
No, for you. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So I have to do some time travel here. Nah, the key thing is you have to create equal access for everyone, for young girls, young women, and even young boys too. So, because in our society, as you know, it's been like, oh, women can't do this, women can't do that, and all that. So, of course, when you have a woman in a leadership position, making decisions at that highest level, over here we call it the bully pulpit, where whatever I say is final, even if sometimes you have to be maybe a little hint of dictatorship, but just to get things accomplished are done. A little bit, not much. But there has to just be equality across the whole board for everyone. Equal access.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually know the thinking is different for a man and a woman, but even though I want it to not be different. So, Madam Clara. So what I want to get into the mind of a woman through your mind. So what is the thought process of a woman when she has to let's say she's in an office and she's the leader to men, like she's their boss, and then she has to direct them. What is their thinking process? How are they thinking? How are they making decisions? How are they feeling if one person is insubordinate or not taking the task seriously?
Okay, so it's actually a real problem, a real world problem. So we have what you call emotional intelligence. To be able to manage people, you have to be very adept in emotional intelligence. Like I did mention earlier, when you put two cadavers on a lab tray, and you're looking at their brains, you don't know who is a man or woman. All the woman truly does want is results. Can you be able to, because results remove the blockages that would prevent things from happening, So if she's not, she could have a guy who is on her side there at the company, and she might be able to talk to him to handle the scenario or the situation, so she doesn't feel like she's talking down on a man, because she recognizes that ego is very, very strong in men. So she utilizes her team in a way that she knows the weaknesses and the strengths of some, both male and female. and utilizes that in solving problems in the company.
Yeah, but is it wrong for ego to be strong in women?
Unfortunately, that's the world. That's the
Okay.
world we live in,
Okay.
and so that's where I said emotional intelligence comes to the fore. You still solve the problems, but it makes you come out looking clean rather than causing friction. You've been able to utilize intelligence in solving the problem.
In solving the problem. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Okay, you actually answered it. I wanted to take that to Madam Beatrice. Madam Beatrice, we are going to round up with you. I wanted to know some things because I know you have authored a lot of books around the Shiros. You've highlighted a lot of them. Now, I want you to give us a guide on how we can get access to this book, because I noticed that your books have a lot of educational materials and information that will help us on a daily basis. I'm not removing myself from the equation. I'm part of the equation that will help us on a daily basis to make this thing become normal. Over to you, Madam Beatrice.
Thank you so much, Madam Mr. Moderator. Welcome to the club.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm cool.
So I want to reiterate on the fact that all we're doing here is awareness. We're raising awareness. We're raising awareness on the existence, the legacy, the achievement, the profile, the African women who have excelled in different positions. And when you read the profiles that we're putting out every day, you will recognize that is the awareness. And some of the questions that you answer, you'll see that there is not the African woman. All of them show you how diverse African women are. And each one of them will act differently in the position of leadership. So when we are facing women, we don't have to say the women do it this way, the women should do it that way, or the men do it that way. We are all diverse, and based on where we come from, our socialization, our education, our perception and vision of life, we act differently. And this, at the end of the day, when you look at the African woman, you know those profiles, you should see how diverse she is, how diversely competent, how diversely visionary, how diversely active, how diversely diverse in her leadership strategy. That's what we're doing, saying, let's focus on this. See Africa through the eyes of the African women who have been in political leadership, through their legacy. And that way you may begin to understand Africa from a different perspective. This is your opportunity to take a look at Africa from the lens that you may not have had before. So this is the invite that is on the table. That is the essence of it. And the books that I write, they go to contribute to raise that awareness. As you see, there is a book called Let's Talk About Africa's Female Presidents and Prime Ministers. This book comes in the form of a book. You have posters, you have flashcards, you have quizzes, you have profiles that you can frame and put in your office, just to have this woman in your office. Just imagine you, all of you on screen, and those who are following the stream, just imagine you have your walls covered with these 40 women. Can you imagine the energy that you have in your house or in that particular space? You wake up with them. These are women who broke the glass ceiling at a time when people were still talking about fighting all kinds of wars, and they stood up and they rose to that position. Just imagine you have them in your boardroom, what message you're putting out and what guidance you'll be getting from them. Just imagine you had them in your homes. So the books are on the website.
I'm imagining.
UbuntuBooks.com, that's the essence of the awareness. These books are there to raise awareness. Thank you for our colleague Joy in the background for posting all the information. We really appreciate that technical support in the background. You make this stream be as informative as we want it to be. So, Mr. Moderator, again, in the spirit of awareness, in the spirit of learning, in the spirit of sharing, in the spirit of collaboration, and in the spirit of celebrating the legacy of the African woman, I hand over the microphone back over to you. Thank you so much. And thank you to all the colleagues who have made this a success, those who are on screen and those who are at home. So over to you.
This conversation has been awesome. I learned a lot, and sometimes I'm getting lost with the information. I feel like they put a water hose in my front, and then I'm feeling overwhelmed with information. But I know I'll process them over time, and I believe that is the same for everybody that's on this conversation. We'll process them over time. Next week we are coming live again to give you more education. Who again are we interviewing? What's her name? The Pan-African. Madam Beatrice, help me out, please.
Our guest is going to be Madam Grace Kubayo, who is the current General Secretary of the Pan-African Women's Organization.
Yeah, so she's going to be coming live with us, or being live with us, and then educating us and preparing our mind for the July 31st. Once again, go to africaswomenday.africa and sign up. We will be signing out right now. Thank you, Benga. Thank you, Madam Clara. Thank you, Madam Beatrice. Now,
thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
See you guys. We thank you for staying with us, and being patient enough and learning. I hope you took notes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye. Okay, thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Okay.